it will come to Parliament.
Yes, sir.
Whether it will come to Lok Sabha, Rajya Sabha, they are taking a legal advice. Because there are some financial issues involved in the bill.
Yes, sir.
How allocation of money has to take place between Simandra and Telangana. That is why it is called a money bill.
Yes, sir.
According to Parliament, if there is a financial implication, if there are money issues involved, it has to be referred to the Lok Sabha. It will be referred to the Lok Sabha. But BJP is still saying, BJP is playing a double game. BJP is still saying, this bill is not comprehensive. This bill does not clearly tell us, how this allocation of money is going to be taking place. That has to be included. That has to be included in this money because Hyderabad is a major capital. Lot of money is there in Hyderabad because of Hyderabad being capital city. How this money is going to be shared between Simandra and Telangana? That is where they are saying that in view of the fact that this is a money bill, this has to be included in that. But then BJP has to make it very clear. BJP can raise that issue in Parliament and say that no, this has to be included. This amendment has to be brought out in this particular bill. But they are not saying that. Now their stance is because this issue is incomplete, this bill is not comprehensive. There are several issues which need to be raised. The senior cabinet ministers have been having discussions with BJP in the last 1 week. With Venkaiah Naidu and others. And if you look at BJP all along in the last 6-7 years, the Kakinada resolution said one vote and
Yes.
2 states.
Yes.
And all along BJP said in Parliament, both in Lok Sabha and Rajya Sabha, we will support. They said we will give unconditional support. But now they are putting in all kinds of conditions because they do not want the Congress to get any kind of an advantage. Because it is Congress which has taken the initiative. They are playing politics here because still in Lok Sabha they can discuss it. They can say these amendments are got to be brought about. This has to be included. The Prime Minister is having a meeting with Advani, Sushma Swaraj, Arun Jaitley. They can tell them these have to be incorporated. Only when these are incorporated, this will make my comprehensive bill. But they are saying, we will try to introduce this bill, when we come back to power. When the NDA government comes back to power. But when NDA government comes back to power, the whole scenario will be different in this country. The political complexities will be different in this country. Who is going to be coming to power? NDA will come to power with what kind of a majority? What kind of political parties which are going to be there, In view of that 60 years movement which has taken place in this country, if that particular party is the responsible party because they have given commitment to the people, they passed a resolution in Kakinada, they were issued in Parliament, they were addressed to several meetings in Andhra Pradesh, the top leadership. They have to be committed, they have to vote for this bill. With amendments. Parliament is there. After all, Parliament is a forum for discussion. Amendments can be brought about. Bill is only being placed. Now, discussion will have to be there. Then amendments will have to be there. The other thing, is a law and order issue. The law and order issue is another kind of an aspect which they are saying, it needs constitutional amendment because the government is going to be given full powers relating to the law and order issue. That also they can examine. If there is a constitutional amendment required, that can be examined. But then it can be kind of for a temporary phase. The governor can have those kind of powers. Later, maybe amendment can be brought about in the constitution. But they are saying only when we bring about this kind of a constitutional amendment, we will introduce this particular bill. The point is, why did they not raise these issues? The discussions have been going on with them. They could have given all this. Then when you are talking about education, I am firmly of the opinion that opportunities have to be given for both the regions. Anyway, there is a Supreme Court decision. Anyone who has completed 4 years here is considered as local. That we have been continuing for some time. that they will have that opportunity for having education. No one is going to be depriving education. If it is necessary, we need to have more colleges, more universities, so that the children who are from Simandra also can be provided. But in terms of education, the government of India has already taken decision that they are asking for All India Institute of Medical Sciences in Simandra, they are asking for one central university, they are asking for one petroleum university. That region also has to grow. Then in the next perhaps 5-10 years, when those central universities are established in Simandra and Rayalaseema, they will have their opportunity to study education. But this is only a temporary phenomenon of their children coming to Hyderabad to have education. No one is saying that they should be deprived of education here. They have been here. This is only a division. This is only a geographical kind of a division. No one will say that the children should be deprived of any kind of an education. That should continue. In Polavaram, I think we should not go with Polavaram. Polavaram will mean in Telangana hundreds and thousands of tribals are going to be affected.
Yes, sir.
We will have to rethink on Polavaram project. Rethink on Polavaram project. No question of submerging of these villages. Where are they going to be evacuated? What kind of a rehabilitation is going to be taking place? I think on Polavaram we should go rather slow. Still we take decisions on these kind of aspects. And question of the evacuated villages going into Simandra does not arise. Polavaram is a national project. They will have to rethink about the Polavaram project till all these tribal issues, Adivasi issues are settled. There is that danger in giving powers to the governor,
Yes, sir.
total power to the governor. That also needs to be examined. Because governor cannot have. Because if it is going to have, in fact, it is going to be so difficult to know when law and order problem takes place in Bhimavaram or somewhere in Srikakulam. How is the governor going to be looking at it?
Exactly.
It is physically impossible.
Exactly.
Are you going to have a DGP there? Are you going to be directing, the IGP there, DGP there? If you are going to be having, so much of control over the law and order, that also needs to be examined. And I think, there are certain problems in giving, so much of power to the governor. The entire law and order situation cannot be under the control of governor. As you have said, even taking out a rally, we need to take permission. The democratic rights of the people will be stifled. In the process of asking for Telangana, in the process of asking for democratization of the people here, and if you are going to be suppressed further, if your democratic rights are going to be stifled, then we are going to be having major problems.
అంటే విద్యా సంస్థలు కూడా 10 సంవత్సరాల పాటు అటు సీమాంధ్ర విద్యార్థులు కావచ్చు, ఉద్యోగులు కావచ్చు, ఇక్కడ రిక్రూట్మెంట్ చేసుకోవడం వల్ల నెక్స్ట్ జనరేషన్కి ఏమైనా ప్రాబ్లం ఉండదంటారా?
There will be problems. There will be problems because when a state is being created, these problems are bound to arise. Particularly because all development, unfortunately, is been concentrated in and around Hyderabad. There is enormous investment by Coastal Andhra. That is the major issue. In fact, if Telangana came in 1947, there wouldn't have been any kind of a problem because there was no investment of Coastal Andhra. There was no real estate here. Now they have occupied. So that is why this major movement is growing. Telangana has to develop. Economic development has to be there. Rapid development. Everyone is having big dreams, hopes and aspirations. When Telangana comes, their life will change. And there has to be a roadmap to change. There has to be a blueprint to change. And then again, the dominant caste cannot come to power. The power in Telangana cannot be under the control of one or two castes. And that danger is there. And that is where I think we need to have identity of our own communities. We have not been asking for Telangana to see that one or two dominant communities come to power. The power cannot be under the control of Reddis and Velamas again. And then Telangana has no meaning. the political participation of the oppressed classes. And who are in the forefront of the movement in Telangana for the last 60 years? Who are the students who have committed suicide? Who led to know the movement in Telangana? Whether it's Osmania University or Kakatiya University, it is all scheduled castes and scheduled tribes and OBCs who have led the movement. Upper caste did not participate in this movement. Whether it is in rallies, whether it is protests, whether it is in dharmas, whether it is committing suicides, whether going to jail, it is only the marginalized sections such as the OBCs, scheduled castes, scheduled tribes and minorities have participated in a big way. It became a major people's movement only because of these people who participated. Who participate, not only students, various caste organizations, small caste groups in villages have been protesting, having their own meetings, their own dharmas. It is today, the upper caste were never there in the forefront of the movement. And that we have to realize, as long as we don't realize that this is a massive people's movement of the oppressed sections, suppressed sections, then if they are not going to be brought into the mainstream of politics, social change and development, and there will be another kind of a movement here. There will be another kind of a movement here. Because people have to be emancipated. People are having a lot of hope. They are having their own dreams. If their dreams are not going to be fulfilled, if the children are not going to be provided with the employment, if children are not going to get quality education, if you are not going to develop that kind of a blueprint or a roadmap, particularly employment, quality education, agriculture, social welfare, if you are not going to be improving these sectors, there will be another kind of a movement here. Students are not going to be keeping quiet. Small communities are not going to keep quiet. If the power gets into two communities, Reddis and Velmas. See, the emergence of Narendra Modi in Indian politics is a very dangerous phenomenon. What has happened in Gujarat, where thousands of people have been killed, and it has happened during Narendra Modi when he was the chief minister. Narendra Modi does not have any kind of secular credentials. The whole country is talking about Gujarat model. I have travelled extensively in Gujarat. In Gujarat, there is poverty. There is heavy dropout of children from schools. The Human Development Index is very low in Gujarat, and he is only indulging in propaganda talking about Gujarat model of development. All right-thinking forces in this country should oppose emergence of Narendra Modi. Narendra Modi does not have any kind of secular credentials. He is not a democratic person. The way he is talking today his style is very autocratic, and he functions like an autocrat for the last 15 years in Gujarat. And it is good. Some secular forces are emerging in this country. There will be a major setback to major social movements and caste movements in this country. There will be a major setback to assertion of OBCs and SCs and STs and minorities in this country. Minorities belong to 15% of the population in India. A person who is against 15% of the population in this country, who was taken on an open stance by killing so many Muslims in Gujarat, can we have a prime minister with that kind of a background? Number two, Narendra Modi is only supporting capitalists. His ideology is all capitalist ideology. He is not interested in promoting poor people. He is not having any kind of an industry which can accommodate poor people. He is giving land free. He is getting all capitalists into Gujarat. Privatization will take place in a big way. He will invite all global companies into India. His economic agenda is very disturbing. So is the case with the social agenda. Very, very disturbing. And it is good that there are some developments taking place in this country with a third front is emerging. There are organizations, there are political parties, which today, talking about, feel that we need to have some kind of a third front, an alternate front, opposing Narendra Modi kind of an ideology, Narendra Modi kind of politics in India.